My name is Anders Fagerlund. I work with Omnia, and I'm going to talk about a case study implementing a successful intranet with Microsoft 365 and Omnia. So just a couple of seconds about Omnia. Omnia is a European intranet in a box product. We have an office in North America that is located in Ottawa, but our headquarters, so to say, is actually in Sweden, where I'm at presently. So Omnia is one of the top-rated intranet in a box products. If you go to sort of independent reviews, we have 4 years in a row been the top-ranked product in the Clearbox review, which is one of the largest within this section of the market. So if you would like to have any more sort of product information, please visit our virtual booth. So about this case study then, I'm talking today about a company that have 2,500 employees. This is a Scandinavian company with sales branches and resellers pretty much all over Europe at least. I'm not allowed to tell you the name of this customer, and I'm going to show you the solution that they have or parts of it, but the logo is taken out and I've changed that to another logo. So this is an implementation project that was done during 2020. So if I remember correctly, we started in January or February, so like 15 months or so ago, and the solution went live before summer, at least during 2020. So I would say that the challenges that this organization had was pretty much the same challenges that you meet with tons of organizations regarding intranets. So, I mean, employees complaining about information overload, that they can't find what they're looking for within the intranet, perhaps experience that the intranet is not that relevant for me or not for the daily work that they're supposed to carry out. And also a pretty boring experience. So they had that SharePoint intranet for like 6 or 7 years. So it was probably about time to do something about it. And they decided after some considerations to go with Microsoft 365 and Omnia for their solution. So if we just briefly look at the project overview, the implementation that was done like a year ago or somewhat more than that. The implementation project, which is the centerpiece here, was carried out in like 9 weeks. So that was when, at least when the implementation project was closed and they prepared and did their launch. But what I would like to start with, just to give you a hunch of what I'm going to talk about, is to focus a little bit about their strategy work regarding, well, their intranet strategy. So they did something like this during the strategy phase. So they discussed purposes for their intranet initiative. They divided those purposes up into sort of statements regarding how can we achieve the purposes using an intranet. So for each of the topics here, or for each of the subjects or areas here, they also defined several user benefits that they wanted to provide for their workforce. And for each of these user benefits, they also defined a number of capabilities that they see within the solution. So what we're going to look at today is, instead of just sort of a general overview of Omnia, I'm going to show you a couple of areas here that were pretty important to this organization. So we have them here as a bulleted list. So we're going to talk about people search within an intranet, and especially then finding people based on competences. We're going to talk about how to visualize dynamic organization charts that can be easy updatable and up to date, the correct versions. They also had a program for training that was pretty ambitious that they wanted to manage within their intranet. So we're going to have a look at that. Also, they have some personnel not working in offices or at desks at all. And I'm going to show you an example regarding one of their stores, how they, besides having a Microsoft 365 intranet, also actually have a mirrored edition of their intranet for people without Microsoft 365 accounts. Briefly, we will talk about some design options, and we will close just sort of having a look at some requirements that has turned up during this year. So not in the implementation project at all. That is related to Microsoft Viva. So let's dive into some Omnia solutions then, or one solution, but some features in Omnia. So first of all then, one of the objectives here, or at least an important area, was to improve the way that people could find colleagues based on competence. And to reach that, we implemented what we call the user profile completion wizard, which is a feature within Omnia. In this case, we have for each logged on user, a little block down here to the right that says my profile. I'm 71% done. And by clicking the strengthen profile button here, I enter the wizard, and this is the way then that we can ask users to update their profile. So this is divided into a number of sections. In this case, it's only 2. So the first section here is pretty general about myself. But in the second section here, we have some properties on the end user where they can input skills and competences that they have. And this is a very short version of sort of the real wizard that had plenty of more fields regarding competence, abilities, skills, training, certifications, languages, and so forth. And this works pretty smoothly, I would say. So first of all, we have some of the fields here that are not sort of administrated by the end user. So in this case, it's actually training that has been completed and sort of a field that is updated from the HR system. So what I can do here as the user is I can give feedback saying that, hey, I went to this course, so you better have a look at what has happened here. And also then, of course, I can update the number of fields. In this case, then, just languages. What languages do I speak? So in this easy way, I can keep my profile updated, and especially then regarding competences and skills. There's also a possibility here to set this on sort of a recurring circle. So this could turn up like once a month for any user that has below 75% done in the profile. So if we then look at the search experience, so this is the Omnia administration portal, and this is where I then can sort of configure the search experience. So what we have here is we're setting up both a quick search, and that is based on Microsoft search, and also an advanced search, and that is based on the SharePoint search, due to that we want to be able to work with configurable refiners and filters on search results. So as you can see here as well, I'm setting up search categories or search scopes. So really easy to use Omnia to give a customized search experience. So if we turn to the solution, then we have the search box up here. So instead of looking at that, we're actually looking at how this is what we did in the case study, because then we just put a banner on the start page that was find a colleague, and then you ended up here. So this is sort of the web page where you find people. So here we can, of course, also then have a look at sort of what is this, because this is an Omnia block. And if I go into design mode here, you can see that this is something called a people rollup. So what I'm doing here, I'm configuring the people rollup to show me, in this case, when I just arrived here, I want to have them access to all people. So that is what we have published here. So if we start by searching for a term, HR in this case, you can then see that we have a number of filters here, but also then we have refiners to the left. So instead, if I didn't want to search here, I could start refining the search result based on competence. So if I'm looking for someone that is skilled within recruitment, that perhaps I don't want to bother the HR manager here, so I want to see the HR specialists, and let's say I want to have come in contact with someone that speaks German. So by these simple steps, I could then sort of, even though there's plenty of people here, refine what I see on the screen, and hopefully then get in contact with one of the people here, access the people card, and of course I can also navigate the organization here if I want to. I want to talk to the HR manager, or at least have sort of a look at his profile card here. So this was pretty close to the solution that went into production like a year ago or something like that. So a really good way to sort of set up user profiles and find people based on competences. Another issue here was regarding organization charts, and having easy updatable organization charts. That was actually, in this case, you see I've called this term-driven navigation, because that is what it is actually. So within the Omnia admin interface here, we have the possibility to work with properties, and we have something here called the enterprise glossary. So within that glossary, I have defined, in this case, it's just sort of 5 different dimensions or areas within our organization or our solution. And we're now looking at the organization. So what I've defined here is the organizational structure. So you can see that we have the group here, we have one of the companies, we have some functions here in several layers, so to say. And I can also brand these different sort of terms in the taxonomy. And also for each of the terms, I can set up a page explaining sort of what's the story behind this term. So what we can do with this then is we can use all these terms as metadata or properties on information. So in this case, we're looking at just a news center. So we have some news articles here. And then you can see that where sort of these news articles are related to various parts of the organization. This is the sales community that is set up for sharing knowledge regarding sales, obviously. And here you can see then totally different topics or different terms to what we saw. But here you can see that if I click right here on that, this post here is a discussion. If I want to find out what do we mean with the discussion here, here's the definition of that. Also, this is the project center. So this is a portfolio of the ongoing projects within the organization. And here you see these terms again, and the same goes here, that I could sort of click on one of the terms to read about it. And in this case, you also see that we have this link to the sort of, if I want to read more. And then I arrive at the organizational pages. So Here's some information about the global HR function. So we got the information here. We got a roll-up of news articles. We can see the people that work within HR, and we also have some documents that has been shared by HR. But what we see here are then the sort of dynamic organizational charts. So these can, of course, then be used for navigation between various pages here. And if I change the term set, if I change the taxonomy, then this will be automatically updated. So you will always have updated organization charts. So this organization also then were pretty ambitious when it came to training, both internal training and external training. So within their intranet, they wanted to have this sort of learning center. So what we're looking at here are learning modules within 4 different areas. So leadership, product, sales, and information technology. So here I can sort of go to the next level, look at leadership courses, and then on the left, you see some of the courses that are held internally. And you can also see to the right here, some micro courses that you can take sort of based on self-service. So if we dive into one of the courses here, I can read about the course. I can also see courses coming up. And also, if I click into one of the dates here, I can then sign up here, and I can also see who has signed up before me. So this is sort of handling all courses within this, all internal courses with bookings and with confirmations and follow-ups and whatever regarding the courses. And if we have a look at the micro courses, you can see then that we have a gallery here of micro courses. So if I open one of the courses, and I mean, what we see here is a web page that has been sort of divided up into sections that I can sort of do it step by step here. I can probably do it in 20 minutes, as it says here. The 5th step here is then a knowledge check. So here I could sort of ask a couple of questions just to check that the person actually have picked up what this course is about. So both administrating and informing about training, about courses, but also then providing this self-service option. Also within the intranet, they wanted to use the intranet for sort of surveys and polls. So also then, again, in the Omnia administration, we're here looking at surveys. So I've done a working from home survey here. And from my perspective then, when setting up the survey, this is pretty straightforward. I've made a section here called General. I've put a question here, some alternative answers, and I've also given these a point score. And then I do the next question and the next section and so forth, and then I publish it. And for the end user, I mean, this looks like just sort of any survey, any employee satisfaction survey, or in this case, the working from home survey that you might have run into. Of course, there's also a possibility to sort of analyze the results. There's also a possibility to have recurring surveys. So if you want to do this survey every month, you can do that, and you can also then compare the answers and the scores sort of between the surveys here. You can also use similar functionality for setting up sort of the weekly poll or the question of the day or whatever, which would then sort of be answered by anyone who turns up here at the start page. And then after they have answered the question, they would also then see the results. And as I said, within this organization, they have a number of users that were never sort of included in the previous intranet. So they really wanted to reach out to frontline workers, if we can call them that. Also then, they had a challenge regarding we need to distribute some information in local languages, so that could be in Spanish or in Italian and so forth. So we want to publish the information in English, but then we want it to be translated. So what we're using here is a feature in Omnia called reusable content. So when I publish a certain page, we can then set up that this page should also show in a different language and perhaps in a different place. So that is what's happening here. And also then, I said before that some of these people didn't even have a Microsoft account. So they are actually logging on using their mobile phone. So they're logging on, they get this pairing code to their phone when they want to log on. And this is based on the Kaisala of authentication. In this case, it is. There's several ways of doing this, but they have like 30, maybe even 35% of their employees that don't have a Microsoft account, but they can still then access chosen parts of that intranet due to sort of that being hosted in Azure. So this is the store portal. So this is what it could look like, at least when sort of entering the solution on your mobile phone, or something like this, perhaps. So briefly also on the user experience. This is really focused on the design options available within Omnia. So the first example here is regarding the employee handbook. So this was what it looked like sort of at one point. So pretty, well, I shouldn't say boring or dull, but pretty sort of traditional at least. So what they wanted to do here was to use the design options in Omnia to do something more exciting. So what you can do in Omnia then is use the sort of the powerful design tools available here. So we'll have a look at some examples that were created within this project. So this is the same employee handbook, but in this case, as you can see, with a pretty different design. This is the same with another type of design. This is the same handbook, and as you see, with a totally different design. So all of these are made without sort of doing anything else but using the Omnia features. And this is the last one, when the examples of the employee handbook. So pretty flexible, and you'll get another example here. They have these events, recurring events. So this is a climbing conference, believe it or not, with the agenda here, and they have also then a couple of different options here. They decided to go with this. And when you look at the sessions here, they also have a couple of examples here. So what I wanted to show based on this is really sort of the possibilities to do pretty exciting design presentations and web pages just based on standard stuff in Omnia. So the last subject here is really regarding the alignment with Viva. And just to mention here, the Viva connections alternative. I mean, connecting to Teams has been something that we have been able to do for at least 2 years with Omnia. So here we have, you can see then that this is the start page with the navigation on top. This is the same page in Teams, but now with the navigation to the left. Also then, what you saw when it comes to the enterprise glossary and the taxonomy navigation, this will be connected to Viva Topics for providing the possibility of generating topic cards in Viva Topics. And the same goes for the learning center within the solution, where the courses and the micro courses will show in the Learning Hub. So that was pretty much it. I'm sorry, I'm 1 minute late here, I can see. So perhaps we skip the questions and save those for, if you have any questions, please post them in our virtual sponsor channel.